COVID started, it was actually the last half of my senior year, and I was getting really excited for the end of the year activities, typically like prom, graduation, just like getting to spend time with like my senior class and like kind of say goodbye to my high school. So when COVID first hit, I definitely was like super, I would say depressed, and like just felt like really hopeless about the situation, because I felt like the world around me was crumbling, but then also like my internal world of like my like senior year ending and like not being able to see my friends also felt like it was collapsing at the same time.
Definitely, especially for a while, my social life was much more isolated and almost non-existent, especially just having to stay home during that first spring quarter. It's gotten a little better recently, but having that long period of kind of an isolated social life really sucked and was not very fun at all.
It was just more lonely, and I get my energy from other people. And my job is very much a extroverted thing to do. So when I was, my first job before this job, I was personal training, and I had to do that all online. It was all remote, and it was just hard to be alone all day in front of a computer, especially when I'm used to and prefer to be in person with a big group.
Yeah, I definitely, in the early stages, remember having a lot of late nights just playing like video games with my friends, talking on the phone and stuff like that, which was really helpful. And yeah, just getting vaccinated as soon as we could so that we could start hanging out in person again, and was always the number one goal. I remember there were some times that we would meet like at our old high school parking lot in our cars and like just hang out distance, but yeah.
I think that overall, SPO has done a really good job of trying to mitigate the damages that COVID has had like on the education system. I think that a lot of the professors have been really flexible with the way that they've done like our like learning styles. For example, like winter quarter was fully online, I'm fully in person this year, and it was really hard obviously with the continuous like COVID infection rates going up in Seattle to like transfer back in person while also staying safe if you do come in contact with COVID. But I know that my professors have been super helpful with providing online resources while also providing those in-person resources if you are able to make it in person. So I think that that hybrid model has been super helpful to like making you feel like you're still a student while also feeling safe at the same time.
Lots of students told me that they don't really like online teaching because they cannot focus, because you know they so comfortable at home, so they don't have motivation for study, all kind of things. So I think that is the most challenging one.
Well, I think Zoom is a strain, especially if you're doing it all day, and it's not the same. Now we're going to live classes, but I can't see anybody's faces and their mouths, and you forget how much you both identify people in part by seeing their mouth, but also we read lips a little bit, and sometimes we can hear better if we can see people's faces. So I like being with the students in person. It's frustrating to me that I haven't been able to learn names and faces as easily as I would have in another situation. Even though it's stretched on longer than we thought, I'm optimistic that it will be over and that we're safer than we were. So I guess when it first started, it was a great unknown. I mean, I didn't even walk my dogs without a mask. I went out to walk my dogs wearing a bandana and all the time, and we've relaxed on that. So at least when I do outdoor activities, I don't feel like I'm putting people in danger or endangering myself.
I think it's been like 6 years or so that I didn't go back home. So I booked the ticket last year, and then I canceled the flight because of the pandemic, so I couldn't go back home. So that is the most effective thing that COVID hit me. And also another thing is that I just got married last year, so last summer. So that's why we plan to go back to my country, but then they canceled it. So my mom, she couldn't come. My parents-in-law, they couldn't come. So we have to have like marriage and without our families and stuff. So I think that is what hit me the most.
I think the pandemic has taught me a lot about humanity a little bit, and it's been really cool to see people come together to work to fight this kind of virus. And, you know, as much as it's hard to see that people have done that, the way that I think that our school especially and other institutions have worked to promote the vaccine and get us back to normal as quick as possible has been great. And I think that comes with the negative side of seeing just how divided we can be as a nation. I think there has been a lot of pain and sadness that have come out of the pandemic, and I think for better or for worse, we're just learning a lot about each other as humans and where our state of the world is kind of currently.
It made me really think about how to savor the experiences that I get while traveling. I always thought that, oh, I can always travel, I can see stuff later, and I can do it at a different time. But I mean, if you can go see different things now, might as well use that time that you have and take advantage of it while it's still able to be taken advantage of.
I think that the pandemic was the time in my life where I felt like the whole world is more interconnected than a lot of us think. I think that it feels like you're just like living in your own little bubble and like you're just with your own little friends and your own family. But I think that during the pandemic, I really felt like I saw how coming together in like greater communities is necessary to like face like the hard fights. And I think that I didn't really recognize like the world is like this like huge interconnected like system until like COVID happened, and like we saw everyone had to stay home, like everyone had to wear masks, everyone had to do all these things together and fight against the global pandemic like as a united front, instead of like everyone just having their own kind of mini ecosystems that feel super important and like the only parts of their life.